Ubisoft had a big preview for their upcoming games this year, and 2 days ago, they put out this big 13-minute trailer going over the game. And naturally, they're getting eaten up in the comments, 44,000 downvotes, and every single comment just about, I mean, there's a couple positive ones here and there, but the majority of the comments are roasting the game pretty badly. And this is all on Ubisoft, but it's not just the trailer, ladies and gentlemen. There's a lot of things that are pretty bad about it that deserve the roasting. One, taking the Japanese-inspired music and throwing hip-hop kind of beats all over it. That's kind of strange. Hey, we got a black guy in here. Better make sure that we make all of the music hip-hop. And then the historical errors, a lot of historical issues with this people are pointing out, because it doesn't matter if you do a Japanese game and get things wrong. Because remember, the person who's writing and crafting the story for this game is a white woman. If this were the case for any other culture, there would be massive outrage by the game journalists. But this time, the game gets a pass. No need to worry about it when it comes to Japanese culture. That's not a big deal. It just shows you how hypocritical these people are. And speaking of culture, the people that are really roasting this are the Japanese themselves over on the Japanese trailer for the game. Those comments are glorious. And we're going to take a look at some of them thanks to Grums, who took this Reddit post, and some of these are glorious. So let's take a look at some of these comments here. I'm just going to start off with what Grums points out here in the post, which is kind of a summary of all of these comments. The battling to the rap music, walks through villages just beating up Asians, excessive non-honorable violence. That's actually a really good point, because as far as I understand, like crushing the head of someone that's already been defeated is not what the Japanese samurai would do. That's what's funny about it. They're getting all kinds of things wrong, and none of it matters. I guarantee you they did not bring in some kind of cultural expert or something like that to help them make this game, because they don't care. They don't care about getting Japanese culture and history right. But like I said before, if it was any other culture, they would all be going insane. Imagine if this game was based on some like African history over in Africa or something, and they got a bunch of stuff wrong. There'd be 1,000 articles from Kotaku and The Gamer alone talking about how awful and tragic this shit is. It's true. You know they would. Makes all villagers bow to him. I don't know if they just do it or if he tells them to do it. I watched 13 minutes of that trailer. I can tell you if he was a samurai class, they would bow to him, because they were kind of up above regular people. They would definitely notice him, though, and kind of look at him funny, because everybody in Japan is Asian. At least in that time period, it was very rare there'd be a foreigner there. They kept their country borders shut. And if you snuck in, they would take you out. They would end you just for being there. That's how they were. They were very isolated. And there was a point where like some Dutch came in and stuff like that. There were a few people there, but it was not a common thing. It was a very, very, very rare thing. But let's take a look at some of these comments here. So these apparently come off of the Japanese trailer to the game, and some of them are pretty good. So let's go. I like the ones back here the best. I find it interesting that Japanese people bow so much to Yusuke. I can ignore the historical falsification that Yusuke was a samurai, but this isn't Japan to begin with. It's Japan made by foreigners. That's not it. Ubi-san, the graphics are good, that's all. I'll buy it if you are able to respect Japan a little more. I didn't even travel to France, but I experienced discrimination. Why would I buy such a middle finger to Japan? Aside from the fictional setting of Black Samurai, there is no need to portray Japanese people as shabby and make them bow repeatedly every time they pass by. It almost feels like there is malice towards Japanese people. Personally, I've never understood the concept of cultural appropriation. Now I've come to fully appreciate how vicious and unpleasant it is. It is a well-known historical fact that Yusuke later traveled to Europe, killed French people, and became Napoleon. This person talks about commenting on an English version of the trailer. When I commented, "Where is the samurai in the English version?" I was met with a barrage of criticism. Overseas is scary. So that's where we're at. I've talked about this before. They're not very happy with the game over there. I think this game is still going to sell, at least in the West. And, you know, it is what it is. Whether or not this is a good game or not, I don't know. But stop lying and saying that this is a historically accurate game, because it's not. You can tell that they didn't really get anybody in here to go over the history and the culture. I mean, you actually have Games Radar pointing that out, at least on this part. Oh, well, they got some of the architecture wrong. And talk about that. But like I said, if this was any other culture, they would be pissed and they would be all over it. But because it's Japan, for some reason, they're allowed to ignore it and turn it into, it's not that big of a deal, when it seems to be. It seems to me that the people that this game is trying to represent aren't very happy about it. And if it was anybody else, it would be a problem to these hypocrites, but not when it comes to Japanese people. Why don't they like Asian people? That's what I want to ask games journalists, because it seems like they don't. Anyway, that's pretty much it. Let me know what you guys think about all of this. I'd like to hear from you in the comments. Also, if you would, please like, subscribe, share the video. Make sure you're still subscribed, hit that notification bell, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace. Make sure to check out my locals. There's a link in the description. It's a fun community that I'm trying to build over here. If you don't want to support me on YouTube, you can come over here. None of that money goes to YouTube. You also can just come over here for free. But if you are a supporter over here, I do plan on doing an extra live stream once a month and throwing links to the supporters so you can actually come on and have a supporter live stream with me. Also, it's a good place to catch all of my content. You don't have to worry about notifications like YouTube. They'll definitely work over here. So come check out my locals.